But Leicester gave it everything in that second half. Chelsea led at half-time. Nicholas Jackson scoring his 7th goal in 12 Premier League games this season. A neat finish after managing to evade the clutches of Wout Faes. McAteer and Ndidi both had good chances towards the break. Palmer should have scored for Chelsea just after half-time, but it was his own player that blocked the chance. Enzo Fernandez made it 2 from close range after a good save from Mads Hermansen. Leicester kept pushing forward, maybe should have had a penalty, but were denied. Did get one in injury time that Jordan Ayew was able to steer into the bottom corner. Meaning full time here inside King Power Stadium. It is Leicester 1, Chelsea 2.
Thank you very much, John. Yes, disappointing in the end. Leicester with that late penalty just couldn't rally again and create another chance. Welcome along to Matchday Live with me, Dan Bates. Matt Elliott and Frank Sinclair are with me, Dan Bates here in the studio. In the end, we're talking about a Leicester City defeat, aren't we there? And a frustrating one in the end from a Fox's point of view, Frank.
Yeah, it is. Obviously after the international break and you know, the manager having a bit of time, you know, without the pressure of the games to try and prepare for this game. It was always going to be a tough game anyway. You know, not a lot of people were saying that Leicester were going to get anything out of the game. And to be fair, Chelsea dominated the game, did deserve to win it. Probably could have scored more. But at the same time, Leicester would look at little moments and think, you know, we got one penalty, could have had another. Yeah. It looked really suspect, the second one. Oh, sorry, the first one that it didn't get.
Well, I mean, if that one's given and we presume Ayew scores, as he did, then they've got 7 minutes to attack, and that's in normal time, let alone what's added on extra. So let's say effectively, 12 minutes to go at Chelsea as opposed to 2 at the end there, 1 or 2 when they did get that one.
But I think if you look at it overall, you're clutching at straws really, because Leicester's, you know, Chelsea dominated the game and should have been, you know, away with the game probably in the first half. You know, when we looked at and spoke about the first half and that, Chelsea didn't take their chances when they did dominate the game.
It was tough going, wasn't it, really, from Leicester's point of view? I mean, up until scoring the penalty there in added time, hadn't had a shot on goal on target. So you know, that tells its own story. It wasn't a particularly exhilarating game, full stop, really. Chelsea at times looked a class outfit, but I think there's much room for improvement on their behalf, never mind Leicester's, really. But yeah, I mean, in terms of possession, you know, Chelsea away team, not far off double the amount of possession of Leicester. There's going to be 2 negatives, but I mean, the second half, you can say Leicester stayed in the game. It did, but it was as comfortable as it could be, really, for a 1-0 scoreline for Chelsea. They should have sort of forced the issue, I would have thought, a little bit more. I think Enzo Maresca would be slightly disappointed that they didn't go and make it more comfortable for themselves. But you know, Leicester battled away, but I don't really remember Sanchez being put under any sort of pressure, really, other than the 2 penalty incidents. I've seen a quick little replay, and I saw it in real life, real speed, the first one. For me, I didn't think there was enough in it.
No.
I can see why people screaming for it. There is contact, but I think Mavropanos sort of instigated that contact more than.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see what Jerry Taggart has to say. Jerry, do you agree with Matt, or do you conversely agree with me? I personally think it was a penalty on Mavropanos.
Begrudgingly, after having settled my nervous system down slightly, drinking a cold cup of tea, I have to agree with Matt that if you actually look at Wesley Fofana, he doesn't engage in a challenge. So he's going towards Mavropanos. Mavropanos does brilliantly well to check back inside Fofana, and then is caught by Fofana, but Fofana is not attempting to make a challenge. He just stands his ground and Mavropanos goes over him. So at the time I thought it was a penalty, but I can see why it wasn't given.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, Fofana's even given the action of pulling out of it.
Yeah.
He's pulling out of it. But, what the attacker's wanting to happen there, he's trying to suck him into the challenge. And then it is definitely a penalty. But Fofana reads the situation and there is that little bit of contact. But, as Matt said as well, it's instigated by the forward.
Yeah, he's not obligated to get out of the way.
No,
Fofana,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
for me, listen, it's in many a
But he is in the way, though. in
weaker
essence, though.
claim given.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what's wrong with being in the way. That's his job to be in the way.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Lines get crossed and it all becomes a bit confusing. Cause
You've seen them given, though.
Yes,
Probably all.
I've given,
every weekend there's one of those.
Yeah, I've seen weaker claims given.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I've seen strongers not. But I personally didn't think it warranted a penalty. Yes.
It's just three defenders talking here.
You're dying for it to be given. Like, from Leicester's point of view and the supporters, you can understand it. You've got to try and sway the ref as best you can. But I thought the referee begrudgingly, Jerry used that word, but I'm begrudgingly got to give the referee credit for not giving it, because it could have been relatively easy. The big shouts up there, and it looked quite sort of not spectacular, but it looked quite dramatic the way that Mavididi fell and collided.
I'll tell you what though, if that's at Anfield for Liverpool, it's a different kettle of fish. I think the referee maybe gives that under that type of pressure, but that's the scenario you're in with Leicester City this season, fighting against all odds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's regardless. But overall, as you said, Frank, you've got to look at the bigger picture there. Little instances, desperate to claim what you can, but overall, Leicester fell short today.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take it too hard too much, because I went to Anfield 3 weeks ago and watched Chelsea dominate Liverpool, who are meant to be the best team in the country at the minute, and they end up getting beat. But what they didn't do is what they've done today is they took their chances, which they had more chances and as good a chances against Liverpool, and didn't beat them. So they are a quality outfit. They are a quality outfit, and that's not where Leicester's bread and butter is this season. Is games against Chelsea at home.
Yeah, and I guess, Jerry, then you look at that and you think they did battle until the end, and Chelsea obviously were the better team. I think that's fair to say. The stats certainly do say that, but as Frank says, there are bigger games on the horizon for Leicester.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think if we're all being honest with each other, then we were more hopeful than expectant coming into this game. Again, Leicester showed that, as Frank said, Chelsea probably in the first half shoulda, coulda, woulda, went in more than one up. Leicester come out the second half, and put up a good fight, good performance, but I don't know what the stats are on goals on target, but I'm sure up until the penalty was scored, I never seen the keeper for Chelsea make a save. I don't know how true or how wrong that is, but you analyse the two goals again, and it's not because of Chelsea's great play that the first goal comes about. The second goal, James Justin's, although he's not on the ground, he's out of the game. Still, he's 60, 70 yards away from where he should be. So yeah, there's opinions and facts to be, talked about in regards to both Chelsea goals, but you can see that Chelsea have got some really, really good quality footballers in the team, and on the balance of things, probably just about deserve the 3 points.
Do you think Leicester can take heart, though, Jerry, from it, and from the fact that they battled in that second half?
No, absolutely. And I say you analyse both goals, and it's like Leicester didn't concede, although Cole Palmer and
Madueke.
We'll wonder how the Blazers, that didn't end up in the back of the net, that chance for Cole Palmer. But other than that, if you look at both Chelsea goals, they didn't come from scintillating football. They came from a clearance that wasn't dealt with, and time and Cucurella having time and space in a portion of the pitch where you expect James Justin to be, but because they're a man down, he has time and space to run towards the box and play a really good ball, in fairness, onto the head of...
As a defender, Jerry, like, you look at, we touched on it before the game. We talked about not giving easy goals away. If you want to get something out of the game, as 3 centre-halves sitting in here today, analysing that, if I'm a centre-half for the first goal, I'm not happy with myself because I've got to be stronger and probably don't let that bounce anyway. Hook it on the half bounce and be safe, and then ask questions afterwards. And then the second one, it's a cross in the box and the other centre-half can't see the ball. Yeah. He's looking in the opposite direction. He's more bothered about trying to block the forward than dealing with the cross. And so obviously, that's disappointing. And when Cooper looks back at that, he'll be disappointed, and I'm sure he'll be having words. Yeah,
it goes without saying. That's what I'm saying. There's opinion and facts to be talked about in regards both the goals, and regarding the two centre halves. I've been saying it all season, Frank, about please don't give away cheap goals. And yet again, the first goal especially with the way Leicester set up as well in that first half, probably showing a little bit too much respect for Chelsea in regards to, not pressurising them further up the pitch. And then for the goal to be scored in that fashion, where Chelsea had the majority of the possession, were coming forward at will, and Leicester were defending deep and in numbers, and then for the goal to actually be scored in the way it was is frustrating, to say the least. But unfortunately this season they have conceded a number of goals that were avoidable simply by making the right decision at that moment in time, and that's been probably the biggest downside for me this season.
Yeah, I guess, Matt, and Jerry, to be fair, probably more so, has been speaking about that pretty much before we go to every game, doesn't he? He said, cut out those individual errors, and it's frustrating then that we've potentially seen one, if not two, then today.
Yeah, individual, and they're collective deficiencies as well, I think. I don't want to sort of label individuals because it's different people in different games, different weekends. I've seen them. We talk about 100% concentration. It's difficult to do. Like, everyone's guilty of switching off to a degree at some stage, but not at vital moments, and to what level as well. Because it's happened. Man United, for instance, was we're talking about letting the ball bounce. The incident with Christensen that ended up with a throw-in, but then the whole defence switched off in that instance, and they were slow to go and engage. Fernandez it was that actually scored the strike in the end, wasn't it? But
Cucurella, who put the cross in.
Sorry, I'm talking about Man U. And then today, but today as well, different instances. Yeah, sorry, confusing you. But today with Cucurella, Okoli, Frank points that out, 100% correct. Like, what is he thinking there? I think maybe he thought he got possibly done by the cross, and then he was sort of struggling to sort of clamber and claw at the striker, thinking he couldn't get the ball. But in hindsight, he actually could have if he adjusted his position. Yeah, he just let it come over the top of his shoulder. Yeah,
because his starting position was good.
Yeah. I mean, it
but
was
then
he
turns in 360 direction away from the ball instead of opening his body, so he can always see the ball and always see the player. He's turned the wrong way.
Got himself in a muddle. But that's something you can learn. I mean, he's relatively young as a centre half, but Fass, as more experienced and needs to rule out or certainly decrease the amount of errors there are in his game. But also, the point I was coming to is Cucurella, midfield, slow to engage, just ambled out to him. And he's a decent performer. He's put in a beautifully cute, delicious cross, but he wouldn't have given a lot of time. And then you've got to be really tigerish and at it, because teams don't afford Leicester too much time, do they? When Leicester are going forward, it's always pressured. It's not easy. They're not comfortable when they're going in the attacking third, and that's why up until that penalty, there wasn't a shot on target. Leicester only had 4 shots at goal all afternoon. So they're few and far between. Chances are at a premium. They've got to make sure that that's the case at their own end.
Yeah, I guess when you look at the stuff going forward, there were a few moments, probably only really half chances, wasn't it, Jerry? In the end, from a Leicester point of view, I think that the Casey McAteer one in the first half, another day that could sneak in the post. Wilfred indeed, he had a really good opportunity, didn't he? Again, on another day, he hits the target there. But second half, there weren't too many of those opportunities, really, that I can think of, certainly off the top of my head.
No, I think the Wilfred Ndidi chance is probably Leicester's best chance of the game. Obviously, apart from the penalty going in the net. In the second half, they got themselves into good areas of the pitch and couldn't quite connect the dots when it came to shooting opportunities or working the keeper. And obviously, again, that's slightly disappointing because that hasn't been that's been a decent part of Leicester's season up until the Manchester United game and this game. Now you're talking about obviously Manchester United and Chelsea, but it's I'm not saying it's an area of concern to a great extent, but you're at home. You have sort of upset Chelsea's momentum slightly in the second half. You have seen more of the ball in the second half than you did in the first. Can you now, as I said, connect the dots in the final third? And unfortunately, that didn't happen too often. Although they did find themselves more often in good areas and creating good opportunities to get going forward.
You look at the run of fixtures now, though, from a Leicester point of view, Matt. Brentford away, West Ham home, Brighton away, Newcastle away, Wolves at home. If they can just about click those things together that Jerry's been saying, there's definitely absolutely points to be had.
Yeah, they're mixed difficulties, aren't they, those games there? I mean, any away game brings its challenges, doesn't it? And
Brighton at home, rather. Sorry if I said Brighton away.
yeah, so right, Brighton. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better, doesn't it? But what was it? Brentford away, difficult. Brentford, I think they've got one of the best home records, haven't they, in the league, alongside,
if not the best.
Yeah. And their away form is a stark contrast, isn't it? But so there you go, difficult fixture down there. Newcastle away, pretty difficult. So, but you Leicester can't be ruling out picking up points there, but it's going to be tough for them. But I think there's we're obviously talking about and focusing on today's game. I thought it was obviously the result's disappointing in itself, but I thought the performance was a little bit disappointing, but not unredeemable. Next time round at home, they could have come up a little bit short today, but I think if the players are honest with themselves, they'll probably think, right, hang on, we're capable of a little bit more than that. Chelsea decent, they're tough to deal with, but that 10 minutes in the end of the first half was really all that Leicester properly offered, I thought. But I think they'll be disappointed with themselves, the players, and go into the next game and give it more of a charge, really. And I think Leicester are capable of that. With the home fixtures coming up, what do you say? Wolves, Brighton,
West
Ham. Yeah, all three of those. You wouldn't back against Leicester producing something, would you? So, from that point of view, I agree with you, Batesy. Yeah, they've got to have belief in themselves, particularly those home games. And if you get a win or two at home, then you can carry that into an away performance and grind something out away at St James's Park, possibly. But all ifs and buts and maybes, isn't it? It's going out there and producing. We can project as much as we want, but
well, it's really tough, isn't it, Matt? Getting a run of wins in the Premier League is not easy at all.
I know, it's amazing how many teams don't get back-to-back wins, isn't it?
Exactly, it's very difficult. But obviously, after playing, you say Man United, but Man United's only 5 points and a couple of places above Leicester themselves.
Yeah.
So they're not actually flying themselves. So Man United and Chelsea as your two games, is always going to be difficult. And probably points that you're not you're not putting down at the beginning of the season as a little marker. Those are we're going to nick something from them games.
Leicester had a run of 4 games recently.
Yeah.
You thought each one of them in isolation winnable. Leicester got 7 out of 12, wasn't it?
Right.
Decent return. Anything like that.
That's what you need against the teams when we say those are the teams that are your bread and butter.
Right, Jerry, we'll let you have the final say then of the afternoon. Obviously, you're on co-commentary duty. How do you sum up the 90 minutes we've just seen?
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, the best team won, but they've got to take heart. There are positives to take out of this game moving forward. Next week, I fear, won't be any easier than today. In fact, it'll probably be more difficult than today. So it's about, again, learning from the mistakes and trying to move forward in a positive fashion, Dan.
Thank you very much, Jerry. We've got plenty more coming your way, of course, here on Fox's Hub. There's loads of content for you on the app and on the website. We've got the game, though, in a week's time down at Brentford, of course. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff. That means we'll be live from 2 p.m. And then following that, it's midweek action here at King Power Stadium. West Ham United roll into town. That is an 8:15 kickoff a week on Tuesday, so that means you can join us from 7:15. Big thank you to Jerry Taggart, to Matt Elliott, and finally to Frank Sinclair. Very quickly, final words. Have you enjoyed coming on? We'd love to have you again. It's been great to have you back in Leicester, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely, brilliant. You know, I love this stadium. You know, one played in there when it was first built and played there for a few seasons, and it's always great to come back and see my old mates like Big Matty and Big Jerry as well. So it's been a quality day, and obviously my team Chelsea have won. You know, I've supported them all my life, so I'm always happy when Chelsea win as well. But you know, it's been brilliant to be back.
Yeah, you've just
don't come back too soon.
And you've just talked your way out of being back on the show again. Thank you very much, Frank, for joining us. Yeah, on overall what has been a disappointing afternoon for the Foxes, who fall to a 2-1 defeat to former manager Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye.